listening to the Shite Talk podcast show. Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talk podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's up?
On episode 229. Yeah, I nearly made a mistake there, but I think we just about caught ourselves.
What did you nearly do?
When I was introducing it, I said, I think I normally say Mark and Ken and then pause and let you come in. But I paused before I mentioned who we are, then copped it, then came back in. And now I just realised that no one else would have copped that other than me, and I could have made it out. Well, yeah. Pretend like nothing has happened. Everything has went smoothly.
Everything is fine.
Everything is fine. Not a whole lot has happened this week. That's the only news this week.
Yeah.
Every other week has been a very interesting week.
It's been a slow week. We don't have an action-packed show this week.
No, we don't even have an idiot. We have an honorary idiot of the week coming up. I'll let people put their answers on a postcard and they can send it in to us of who they think our idiot of the week is, our surprise idiot of the week is, even though this is a recorded show. By the time it gets to us, it probably will be the same person.
Probably will be, yeah.
Yeah. Feel free to guess. So going through what we were going to be talking about this week, a little bit of something for everybody, no matter what you're into. The old classics are there.
Where are the old classics?
We have Tinder.
We have
OnlyFans for the people who aren't on Tinder, or maybe are on Tinder. Maybe go side by side. We've animals dying. We have vegans.
That old favourite.
That old Shite Talk favourite. Vegans and meat eaters fighting over shit. And we have also Elon Musk.
Yeah.
All we're missing is space.
Special guest Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just kind of just missing space. That's the only kind of other classic Shite Talk talking point that we were missing.
Elon Musk kind of counts as space.
That and kind of an actual idiot of the week. Or a person sticking something up their hole.
Yeah, some sort of a weird sexual fetish.
Yeah, well, OnlyFans. You kind of got that bit.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, anything strange in the world of Ken?
No, not really, no.
No, I haven't done fuck all either. I'm kind of wondering where my Book of Boba Fett new episode was this week, because it comes out on a Wednesday. We record this podcast on a Wednesday, and it's still not here. Is there only 7 episodes in this fucking series?
So how does that make you feel?
It's barely a book. Have
you been watching Pam and Tommy?
I have, yeah.
That's pretty good.
It is pretty good. I kind of like the way they've done how Pamela Anderson looks as well as sound. It's incredible.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and yeah, even Tommy Lee, he I don't know, he comes off so bad. I don't know how they got his permission to go ahead with this.
Because he's the only one. Pamela Anderson didn't agree to it.
What?
She didn't agree to it, but Tommy did.
He agreed to it. All right.
Yeah, he said it's fine. Yeah.
How did they get away with it?
Originally, he didn't. Originally, he was like, "No, I'm not giving permission to this." And then I don't know what they did. They must have given him money. I don't know, but he was like,
"Definitely give him money." Yeah, do what you want.
Do it.
Yes,
but yeah, she's completely against it.
All right. I'm surprised that they actually were able to go. She comes off pretty well.
I think she's against it because it just wasn't a good time in her life. She just obviously doesn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, but they kind of made it look a gullible character, and she would there's even a scene where I don't want to ruin it on people who haven't seen it, but there's a scene where she's talking about her acting inspirations and her female role models that she wanted to look up to, and she's saying how she wants to be in every woman, how she wants to be beautiful, but also fight for education and she's a feminist, but she doesn't believe that just because you're a feminist, you can't also to wear dresses or makeup or do real girly things as well. And there's kind of female empowerment part to it. And I was like, oh Jesus, this is she makes Pamela Anderson look so much better. Like she's going to become more relevant. Like they're showing Baywatch on RTE or TV3. I think it's TV3 are going to be re-showing Baywatch. I'm so watching this. That's definitely get series linked.
It was a Comedy Central or something already show Baywatch.
All right. Well, in Ireland, it's now going to be TV3.
But like Pamela Anderson is actually incredibly smart. Like I don't know why more people aren't aware of that.
Well, it's probably the big tits, blonde hair, Ken, and the fact that like, her most famous roles where she ran really slowly to the sea to save people.
Has nobody ever watched her being interviewed?
No.
Like, why?
That's like if someone was like, has anybody ever not read an article of Playboy? They're like, no. They kind of just look at the pictures, Ken. They kind of just look and flick.
Like, I don't understand why nobody's ever watched an interview.
Once again, it's like Playboy. I don't understand. Like these are great articles in this Playboy magazine. They really get to the hard hitting questions of the day.
Yeah, but if she's not being interviewed naked, so like.
Yeah, what's the point watching? You know, I'm sure there is a fucking fan base for her where girls are agreeing with you, saying that like she's an incredible girl and finally she's getting recognition. Just the general public has this eye, and I think it was the Baywatch thing. And in fact, the series kind of addresses it. Dolly Parton is another one.
Definitely, yeah.
Dolly Parton's another girl who should realistically be every girl's icon because she talks, her songs talk about women suffering so much. There's so much sorrow in that song, but she also is like not afraid to absolutely take the piss out of herself either. Like
yeah,
there's a Vox do a really good Dolly Parton documentary about her, and you know, like. I watched that or listened to it, and it changed my opinion on Dolly Parton. I was like, Jesus, why isn't every girl looking up to this woman? It's like a really good, like if anybody has a spare 2-3 hours, listen to it, and everyone else has got that. Literally everyone listens to the podcast gone, no, I'm okay. I don't have that. A spare 2-3 hours. You might have a bus ride.
Yeah, I've got 3 hours to listen to Joe Rogan talking shite, but I don't have 3 hours to listen to something actually worthwhile.
Yeah, we're a documentary about Dolly Parton. I kind of like do it in stages. Like generally, I don't have like even an hour now, like to listen back to maybe our podcast. I can't sit down and listen to a full of our podcast to see whether or not like it's like what we're doing right on the podcast, what we're doing wrong on the podcast, how does it sound to a listener, and to get our viewers up more than anything else. But like it's even an hour is hard.
But that's because your attention span is like 15 minutes.
I kind of have to stick it into it. Like if I'm in a car journey, that's the only way I can actually focus on it. Sometimes I also, when I'm playing the PlayStation, I'll put the PlayStation on mute. And it's the same kind of thing, but I'm not really paying attention to anything that's going on. Then either in the game or like everything gets blocked out. It's got a weird effect.
Oh, Mark.
Yeah. Talking about like, I don't know. Let's move on to what we're meant to be talking about. I'm done with segues now. Okay? Foo Fighters have made news, and I was actually going to put this into something that we might just kind of casually talk about this, and I might just bring it up all of a sudden. Isn't this an interesting thing? But then I was kind of like, you're not a Foo Fighters fan,
no.
So I was like, oh, Ken might, but he's a horror fan. Maybe through this ridiculously funny horror movie that Foo Fighters are making, he'll become a fan, and we can just talk about Foo Fighters stuff on one of our podcasts and get Dave Grohl to come on.
You know what? He probably would.
Yeah, exactly. Especially for his release of a podcast. He's like, I'll do anything. But yeah, I seen on Facebook today, you were giving it. You usually give out about different things, or as put up bands that have died. And I seen that you had posted a Foo Fighters song, and you're like, finally they've made decent music. And I was like, well, fuck you, Ken. They're the greatest band of all time. They do nothing but release hits. and so I clicked on it, and it was their attempt of like I wouldn't say heavy metal, but a kind of a like speed metal kind of sound of it.
Yeah.
And they sound completely different to anything that Foo Fighters have done before. And
it's not shite.
Well, do you know they have so many levels. They've so many different genres they touch into, like in terms of their music. They like because I used to just like, I'm just going to see if I can annoy Ken at this age. So I started playing their alter egos, DGs, which is their disco band, and like that album is like a decent disco album. Like they do decent covers of a disco thing, and then they can just switch on a penny on and do like speed metal songs.
Yeah, like this one's good. Like even like Dave Grohl's vocals are going to like piss off so many Foo Fighters fans in this one.
Why?
Because he's doing like that kind of black metal, death metal vocal kind of thing.
Yeah, well, do you know his voice is like from just playing live music for as many years that he did. His voice has got a little bit worse over, and I think he smokes as well. So his voice is taking a hammering over time. There's a lot of Foo Fighters fans have pointed out that it's like his voice is just deteriorated. But as he gets older, he kind of he's switching. Like a lot of his songs will switch to screamy parts, and maybe that he notices that he can't hit high notes, so he's gone more grunty.
Like he said that he wants to release Foo Fighters album that's just pure death metal.
Yeah, because like he also says stuff, and like then you're looking at him going, "Oh, what do you mean by this, Dave? What are you talking about?" Because this is the same thing. The previous album, their latest album, under the DGs, the album he came out, all the publicity was like, "All right, this was meant to be the 20th anniversary of Foo Fighters. We're gonna release it. We wanted to do like a celebration album, and we're going to release like an album that people can just dance to, like dad dance to, like a disco album. We just want people to just go loose." And like this whole album was meant to have disco vibes, and people are listening going, "What? It is not a disco album." And so it's like that's what was the whole kind of thing, was like people were giving them shit over it. So he releases like cover of disco songs. But like he kind of says this thing. Same with he's recently wrote a song for Liam Gallagher, and in it he's like, "Oh, I really wanted to take inspiration from the Beastie Boys." And if you listen to it, like it just sounds like an Oasis song. Like it's a real kind of like just. I was like, "There's no Beastie Boys here, Dave." Like I can't see where you got the Beastie Boys from this. So I don't know if you meant like maybe kind of the kind of drumming repetitions are similar to kind of Beastie Boys drums in their songs. I don't know, but yeah, he was kind of complaining. He was kind of saying that like Beastie Boys was his biggest inspiration for writing this song. I was like, it doesn't sound like the Beastie Boys. But yeah, what do you think? You like the song?
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah, would you be kind of like, oh, now I heard that, I'm actually interested to see them go one step further and release a kind of a metal soundtrack?
Yeah, like if you done a whole album like that, I'd probably get it.
Yeah. Oh, do you still buy albums?
Yeah.
All right. Good for you. I buy vinyls, like I buy kind of now recent vinyls. So I bought I think like Metallica's S&M 2. That's the last one that I bought. But I wouldn't buy the actual album, because even vinyls.
My problem with vinyl is it's too expensive.
Too expensive, and it takes too much time to listen to.
Yeah, it's too expensive.
Yeah, because I remember like Foo Fighters, when they first came out, Dave Grohl was saying that originally he wanted to be a punk band, and like that's what was his kind of inspiration growing up. But he kind of realized they wouldn't have commercial success as a punk band, so obviously he aimed his songwriting, the sound of Foo Fighters off to something that would be more commercially successful. So I kind of feel like now he's just like he's reached the level of like, I think they're the biggest band in the world right now, Foo Fighters.
Did you ever hear his Probot project?
No.
You should listen to that album. That album's good.
All right. And like, what does it kind of like? What does this sound like? What's a?
It's like it was just something that he did for a crack. He just got like all his well, not all of them, but like he contacted a lot of people that he listened to like growing up, and he was like, "Do you want to write a song together?"
Yeah.
And they were all like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" And it's just like, I think there's 10 songs in it. Like Lemmy's on it, and the lads from Venom are on it, and there's like just a load of different people on it. It's each song's a different kind of style.
All right. Is this the one I think Paul McCartney he sings on? Does a song with him as well as your one from what's her name, Stevie Nicks?
No,
that's because they did something for an album or not or
that
studio.
Sun City thing.
Yeah, the Sun City thing. It was something like that, was it?
It's something like that, yeah. Like he literally just got bands that he listened to growing up, and he was like, "Here, you want to do something?" And like some of it's death metal, some of it's like just rock and roll, some of it's pretty good album.
Yeah, he's an interesting guy. I thought it was a bit left of field, him doing a horror movie though, because that's his next project, and I think maybe the whole speed metal album is to kind of like coincide with this like kind of horror movie.
Yeah, it is. Like, did you see the synopsis of the movie?
Oh no, I've only seen a trailer.
Like the synopsis of the movie is like Foo Fighters move into a mansion. Like I've no doubt that their next album is going to be this death metal album, because like it says, legendary rock band Foo Fighters move into a mansion steeped in grisly rock and roll history to record their much anticipated 10th album. Once in the house, Dave Grohl finds himself grappling with supernatural forces and possessed by the front man of Dream Widow.
All right, like
so the song that they released is released under the name Dream Widow. So I'd say their next album's going to be released under the name Dream Widow.
I just think this is going to be like an hour and 40-minute long movie of a Foo Fighters music video. It's just going to be that kind of style of where they're kind of taking the piss. Everything's kind of jokey. It's kind of like Pick a Destiny. That's what I kind of imagine it's going to be.
Pick a Destiny.
I kind of like. I'd be annoyed if Jack Black's not in this movie. I think he'd be annoyed as well. If Jack Black isn't in this movie, he'd be also very annoyed.
Jack Black is playing Dave Grohl in this movie.
No, it'd be funny if they had him as a person in a music store. And he's just like, he's just working there, and he's like this disgruntled, like 50-year-old guy who's never left his first job in a music store. You know, because you remember that movie he was in where he played like a 20-something-year-old guy in a music store.
No,
it was like one of his early roles. I think it was like Orange County was the name of the.
Oh, I remember that movie. Actually.
Yeah, I think he's in it, and he's like, it was the song that won. Was the soundtrack for. That was actually a good movie. Yeah, so I imagine if they just play homage to Jack Black in that way, where they just have him revise that role of him. I think all of his scene is just him in the store. Some person is looking for an album, and he just completely doesn't care. He's like blah blah blah. He's just he says words, but he's just like, I don't care. He's like so he's taking a piss at the music choice that they have, or something like that. I don't know. It was good anyway. Yeah, he was all right in it. I am really looking forward to this. When I seen the trailer, because a guy in work told me about it, and he's a huge horror fan, so he was like, "Oh, I'm not really too sure about it." And I was like, "Yeah, to be honest with you, I think this is going to be kind of real cheesy and kind of crap." And then I seen the album, or I seen the trailer, and I was like, "I'm on. Sign me up for this."
Yeah, I'd imagine that it's not going to be great.
Well, if you go into this going, "Oh, I wanted a serious horror movie," you are going to leave disappointed. But once again, if you're kind of expecting something like Scary Movie or Pick a Destiny, if you're expecting a Pick a Destiny style movie, then you're probably going to get a Pick a Destiny style movie. Oh
yeah, that's exactly what I'm expecting from it, but I'm still not it'll be okay, not great.
Yeah. I think that's a fair assumption to make about the movie.
I think it'll be a 4 out of 10 job.
4 out of 10 job. 4 out of 10. That's pretty bad. That makes the movie bad. I think what you mean 5 or 6 out of 10. Like, it
No,
won't be
no. I think
it will be
it'll
just all right. Like a 4 out of 10 means it's actively bad.
A 4 is like all right.
Yeah, like if you get a 4 out of 10 in looks, you have a facial deformity. Like that's what that's saying about you. Like most people will fall in the range of a 5 or 6 out of 10. Like that's just the mean, and most movies will fall into that in terms of out of 10. We'll get like a 5, 6 out. It'll be possible. Like it's not going to be phone box, but like it won't be bad.
Won't be good, won't be bad.
Won't be bad. It'll just be indifferent. You'll be like, oh, well, I'm probably not going to get that time back in my life. But yeah, I should have known what I was getting myself into.
I should have known better.
We've kind of started a TV time about this because another thing, one of my friends was suggesting to watch was Tinder Swindler.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it never appealed to me to start watching that.
Me neither. It isn't my type of show at all because I kind of have the attitude that like most of these girls are after guys for money, so like they kind of like it serves them right kind of thing. Like they're going out this guy because he's going to be able to bring them on all these expensive trips. He looks like he lives a really interesting life, and they're kind of thinking like, well, I can quit my shit job and just follow him around the world. It sounds like amazing, and like then they get conned. So like I kind of feel like live by sword, die by the sword. Kind of when about these things in general. After watching a good bit of it there, I haven't got to the end. I kind of changed a little bit of my tune. I can kind of see like, and then even thinking about it, I'm kind of like, I could see like how some people might get conned out of it. Like there's times in my life where I've fallen for cons, definitely. But I'm a pretty gullible person. What's your take on when you see these types of things where these people get swindled out like hundreds of thousands of dollars or euros or whatever the currency is?
Like usually, there's a certain type of person that these people target.
Yeah, and
they wouldn't be like they'd be like gullible or like elderly and a bit doddery.
Yeah, like. But it does happen to as much of it does happen to girls. It does also equally happen to guys as well. Where, and it necessarily isn't just because they're rich. I mean, rich is a commodity. Like as much as like being strong or tall or smart is a commodity, or having a nice jumper. Like these are all commodities that girls look for in the perfect match, and
the girls love a lovely jumper.
Yeah, love it. I'm telling you now, Ken. Get yourself a nice jumper. You'll get a few looks. Go, Jesus, that's a nice jumper.
I'm married. I got married and I never even owned a jumper.
Oh my God. Well, you got lucky. Just there scanning the floors of Dunn stores and Pennies, trying to find a decent jumper to go out on a Saturday night out.
I actually kind of hate people that are under like 50 that wear jumpers.
Me too. Yeah, I hate them as well. Cardigans too. Cardigans piss me off more.
Oh wait, hang on. Are we going to get in trouble now again?
Yeah, they should like. There's an area code where you can wear jumpers in Ireland. And
is there much area?
And when you're outside these area codes, right, like you can wear them as a fashion statement inside Dublin, right? But then up the country, like Clare or somewhere wild, where they only have wool, they clothe themselves, you can wear a jumper or cardigan. But everywhere else in the civilized society of Ireland, you have notions, lad.
Like in fairness, now in Dublin, like it's also the style to wear shite stained Adidas fucking tracksuit bottoms.
Yeah. See, and some girls love a good tracksuit.
A shite stained Adidas tracksuit.
Well, maybe not a shite stained one, but like if you have a non-shite stained tracksuit, you're like, Jesus, that lad's mother does a good job of us washing. But yeah, so like I kind of feel like it's you. I think gold digger gets thrown away too easy sometimes, and obviously like if you had the option of like being able to travel the world, like with a person, like, and plus it's the whole kind of like, it's built hardwired into our kind of like psyche to find the most ideal, safest mate possible to have billions of kids with, so we can spread this like disease all over the world. That's kind of like hardwired into human beings anyways. And like before it would be the alpha male of a pack, and now it's money is a sign of security, and our monkey brains know this, so we're going to be pulled towards money. Anyway, we don't do serious. We can't give advice, and we can't give fucking deep-seated thought ideas about the world. But we can't.
Mark's getting very serious in his old age.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I did know someone. One of my friends once nearly got conned. We think, yeah, I'm pretty certain I can say got conned by a guy like this. Not by like the actual Tinder Swindler guy, but she was over in Ibiza, and she was like, met this guy and went out a few nights with him and a friend who was over there. They had brought over their own jet skis. They're going out jet skiing, brought them out, went out nights out with them, bought them all these drinks, wouldn't let them put a hand in their pocket, went to this like really expensive nightclub, bought drinks there for the night, and like clearly had money and was showing around. And so she came back and she was like, this guy's incredible. He's actually coming over to Ireland. He's going out on, he's going to come over and going to go out for a few drinks. And we're like, oh, cool. Like, what does he do? He definitely does drugs. He's definitely selling drugs. So he said, no, he's not a fucking drug dealer. And it's like, he's in his 20s and he's going to these really expensive nights. He definitely does drugs. And she's like, no, he's a farmer. I think he owns a few pubs. I'm like, all right. And she goes, yeah, and he's a DJ. And I'm like, all right, he's a farmer, DJ, and a pub owner. Okay, this is a busy guy. And and he also does bouncing. And I was like, okay. And owns a biscuit factory. He was like, here, stop the bus. I'm getting off here. This guy is not the guy he's saying he is. This is like, no one would have the time in the world to do all of those things. I was like, first of all, look at the amount of farmers that are here. They're not going to Ibiza. Like, or pub owners. Like, they're fucking... They're not going and buying €1,000 fucking bottles of this. And anyway, he came over and same thing, flashing all the cash around, like going out buying taxis for people to get home, and like buying all the drinks for everyone on the night, and like kind of just being like a generous person, I guess would be a nice way to say it. It seemed really nice, lad and all. Then he was like, he left, go back to England. He's like telling her like he wants to go to Mexico, and she's like, oh, he wants me to go to Mexico. He's going to pay for all these flights and all. His friend got out last minute and were like, Mexico is the murder capital of the world. Do not go on the holiday. This guy isn't real. I don't know how he got his money. Maybe selling gullible teenagers to fucking Mexicans. I don't know. But like, this guy is not who he says it is. She's like, oh yeah, he is. I was like, there's no way in hell. He's a farmer, owns a biscuit factory, pubs, and decides to also do a bit of bouncing on the side. So I was like, eventually we convinced her like not to go on the trip with him. Like she cancelled like pretty last minute. It was kind of like literally everybody was shouting on her. I think one or two people were like, oh yeah, just go on, have fun, YOLO. And we're like, yes, you will only live once, and it'll be you not come back off that trip. That will be your life.
YOLO's a lie though.
What?
YOLO, that's a lie.
You only live once. What do you think of reincarnation?
Like you only die once. You live every day.
Oh, okay, that's a deep-seated thought, Ken.
Yeah, so like
we don't do deep-seated thoughts in this show.
It should be Yodo.
What do you mean?
You only die once.
You only die once.
Yeah.
I actually prefer that as a saying. I prefer Yodo.
Yeah, you only die once.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway, she didn't go on the trip in the end, so like I think it was for the best. But like I get like with this guy, because he comes over and like first of all, he's putting up on his Instagram stories. He's like in these private jets. He's at these meetings. You can like, and I kind of tend to believe stories like people put up rather than just pictures. And then he comes over and he's once again staying in this like really expensive hotel, buys loads of like expensive drinks. Clearly see that he has money. Brings like one of the girls on a private airplane to some other country. Pays for her to get home, and kind of like you can see. All right, well this guy clearly does have money, and then is kind of like, all right, I'm in a spot of bother here. I can't really talk about it right now. Can you send me over money? Because I can't. They're tracking my kind of credit details, and it's kind of like you're like, oh well, this guy's good for the money. He clearly has money. Like he's not stuck for a bit of cash. As soon as like he can, he's gonna repay me. So like you think he's a safe bet to like that would like send you the money back. So I kind of feel how these girls got conned. I wouldn't call them dumb, as one of the lads had described them. Yeah, have you ever got conned out of stuff?
No, I can't say I ever did.
You're kind of skeptical. I've definitely got caught, almost caught, not actually paid out, but I nearly got convinced of the whole Prince of Nigeria thing when I was younger, when I was like buying.
Of course you did.
Oh no, not the Prince of Nigeria one. I'm a prince. No, I kind of got caught out with the what was it? Like I work for the UN, and when I was trying to sell a car, and they're like, "Here, send me over your bank detail or something like that, and I'll transfer you over the money or whatever." And then my dad's like, that's definitely that's a clear scam. Do not just ignore it. I was like, because I think it was via email they're sending it. It's like, I don't know. Like I nearly fell for it. He's like, there's no way he works for the UN. I was like, well, someone has to work for the UN, Dad. And when they're not working for the UN, they need like transport.
I don't think though people go around saying, "Yeah, I work for the UN."
Yeah.
Send me your bank details.
Yeah, I would. If I worked for the UN, I'd be like, I work for the UN. I work for the like deep state UN.
Send me your bank details.
Send me your bank details. I already have them. I just want to confirm them.
Yeah, I just want to confirm. Send me them there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah. So like, I'd be very gullible. But I was kind of saying this off the air. Like, even people who say they're not gullible, I think people are more gullible than they actually think.
Yeah, probably.
Like, you're a very pessimistic person, so like I believe when you say like you're not really that gullible, I kind of believe it.
Yeah, like I always just kind of like I don't know. I always just think like everything's.
You expect the worst and hope for it as well.
I just expect everything to be a scam.
Yeah, I just expect everything to fall to shite.
And it usually does. I expected this pandemic.
If anything has been a blessing in disguise.
It's proved me right.
Do you know what? There's people who actually probably would describe the pandemic as like, oh Jesus, it's actually not been the worst thing in the world. Those people really need to look at themselves hard.
Like, for me personally, it hasn't really been that much different.
Yeah, there's like my life hasn't altered overtly too much. There's things I had to change, and obviously there's during different lockdowns have been a little bit harder to do things and be like, oh, I kind of wouldn't mind like going to a restaurant. Oh, just get a takeaway. Same difference. But yeah, why are birds dying?
Nobody knows.
All right, that's the end of that story. So we're on to OnlyFans. So what was the birds dying story then?
There's like a flock of birds in Mexico,
and they're dying.
There's a video. Like there's a video of it. Like they're just flying along, and like there's hundreds of them. They just drop dead out of the sky.
And is there a conspiracy theory behind this?
No, there probably is.
5G?
I'd imagine something to do with it.
Yeah, 5G's doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really look into it too much.
All right.
I just seen the video and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Maybe, like, you know when your pet runs away to die?
Yeah.
Maybe something like this. This is where birds go to die. This is a natural thing.
Oh wait, hang on. It was there is a conspiracy theory.
Yay!
So the conspiracy theory is that it's 5G.
5G is causing birds to fall off only in this one very specific place.
Yeah.
Everywhere else where there's 5G, no, it's not happening. This one place, it's killing it.
Apparently, realistically, the most likely thing to have happened is that the flock was flushed from above, which is when a predatory bird like a hawk or something comes down and like swoops down into a flock to try and make a catch. So they would have all played dead and they dropped to the ground, but some of them actually didn't. Some of them were a bit stupid and didn't.
Oh my god! All my friends are dying. Oh, I'm gonna die as well. Life is not worth living.
Yeah, so some of them didn't slow themselves down before they hit the ground, because after they hit the ground, some of them do fly off again.
Yeah.
Then there's another two theories. One is that pollution levels caused by wood burning heaters, agrochemicals, and cold weather. And then
climate change.
Final one is, the last one is power lines.
I like the first one. To be honest, I like, and we all know now we don't have to actually find what's true or false anymore. We just find the nicest story that fits in our imagination best, and we can go with that. So I'm believing that there's a whole lot of birds being attacked, and a lot of them didn't know that the rest of them were playing dead and actually killed themselves.
It's Dr. Richard Broughton, an ecologist with the UK Centre of Ecology and Hydrology, said, although he can't see one in the footage, he's 99% sure it's caused by a predatory bird. So a predator would have made birds swirl tightly together and driven them towards the ground. So the higher flying birds would have kind of bumped into the lower flying ones, and sent them a little bit off, and they would have crashed into the ground and died.
And then the bigger bird comes along and eats the dead birds?
No, probably not, because it thinks that they're diseased now, so it just leaves them alone.
I've seen, like, there's a dead bird in my back garden before, and birds just swoop down and they fucking just pick into it. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, the crows particularly. Crows are disgusting bastards.
Yeah, or what are those white and black ones?
Magpies.
Magpies as well. They eat anything. I was like, that's your own kind, I think.
Yeah, you weird fucking cannibal bastard.
Yeah. But like that's fucking weird. I've watched documentaries like Dave Attenborough's done before where the predatory birds, I think it's like how the birds interact around cities, and they're doing one of those ones where they fly up so fucking high, and then they just drop down like a fucking dart, and they just hit a target like out of nowhere, just like knocks it off. Like, it is incredible. Well, yeah.
Birds are just fucking weird, though.
I love just the idea, though, of some bird who's just seen all his friends fall to the earth and be like, oh my god, all my friends and my family are being killed. Life is not worth living. And then they're all actually pretending. You're like, all right, even the dumb one survived. Right. Oh, wait, no, he didn't.
Well, that all goes on the theory, though, that birds are real, which they're not.
Oh, yeah. Really, they're just the drones ran out of battery. This is proof of that.
Yeah, there's proof of that.
It's either 5G or drones run out of battery. There's what you call it? So what's the OnlyFans then?
So there's this girl on OnlyFans. What is her fucking name? Does she have a name? Her name is Belle Grace.
Yeah.
And she was working in healthcare. She worked she took care of autistic children in some fucking place in the UK. And she quit that to go on to OnlyFans. So now, this is a kind of story that we've covered before, where people are like, yeah, girl quits to make money showing her tits on OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's like a teacher or something like that. There's like some teachers do on the side. And he and then a dad recognized him. But literally a quarter of our stories come from OnlyFans girls.
Well, this girl makes 51,000 a month from washing her hair.
So it's not really a kind of like a sexual thing.
Well, it probably is, but it's not on her part.
Yeah, do you honestly? Because I remember, like Instagram girls.
Yeah.
And like when we think of like an Instagram girl, we think of some girl like who's good looking, she's showing off her ass or tits or something like that. Like it's just photos of them doing gym workouts and showing a bit of cleavage.
Yeah.
And usually their products they're trying to pump off or whatever. I remember there's like these just like they used to pop up on the old searches, and there were these girls' profiles who would have like hundreds of thousands of followers, but they're dressed and they're just like a cute girl who's just like on a train. They're not doing nothing like showing off their ass or anything like this. It's just like people like, oh, she's cute, and just like follow them. That's how they build up their followers. So maybe something like that. Maybe it's just like, oh, people are like, it's like watching her wash her hair. She's just nice to look at or something like that.
It just seems very weird.
I just think it's just like maybe it's like people are into a whole shower thing. That's the whole kind of other genre. So I thought it was maybe just a camera in the shower as she's washing her hair. I was like, oh yeah, well that's her. I can kind of get that, but if it's just her over her bat, like just cleaning her hair.
Like she said, like one guy gave her £300 just to plait her hair.
And like, how does she come up with the idea of, oh right, here's my niche market?
I'm assuming somebody must have offered her money to do something before, and she's just like, huh. It's not like an overly sexualized thing. It's not something that if it's found out that I do it, I'm going to be embarrassed by.
Yeah, because if you go for a job and they're like, oh, we see you have an OnlyFans.
Yeah, you have an OnlyFans for
and
you
like,
watch it.
Well, it's just me washing my hair. Like, it's nothing big. Because remember, there was a girl kicked off a reality TV show for having an OnlyFans account.
Yeah.
And like the show was kind of sexualized anyway. It was like, well, that's could the kettle calling the pot black.
It's I don't know, it's a strange phenomenon.
Yeah, I thought it was really weird. I was like, there's definitely a kind of like unfair dismissal case that to be had there.
For being kicked off a reality TV show?
Yeah, well, for kicked off having an OnlyFans account.
Well, probably not, because there's probably something in your contract about shite like that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's weird that like in now we're like there's just people making a living off like just paying girls for doing relatively normal things.
Yeah, like she got the biggest amount she ever got paid off one person, but she got 20,000 off somebody. I
bet Fart Jar Girl is like, what?
Yeah, Fart Jar Girl is in the complete wrong fucking market.
Yeah, she's like, I could have done that just washing my hair. I could have been washing my hair I usually wash it every day.
Like, some guy sent her £300 to watch a video of her wet hair just drip onto a floor.
Yeah, it's weird. It really is.
Like,
do you ever read any stories of our lads and how they've got into it before as well?
Like, I don't know.
Like, if you can get paid for doing it, fair play to you. Like, it's easy money, and it's quite.
Like, I was more thinking, who has 20 grand to give somebody to make a video of them washing their hair?
Yeah, that is true. Not a lot, I imagine. But
like, and then what are you getting out of it? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, people just maybe it's just like fucking really, really rich rappers like. Has an OnlyFans account. It's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna give her 20 grand, and it's just like to them it's like nothing. And then you wake up after like the next day and they're like, why is the 20 grand gone out to some girl washing her hair?
And like Conor McGregor on a drinking drug binge.
Yeah, exactly. Some fucking guy who has a lot of money and be like, oh fucking let's
go on OnlyFans and see what we can get people to do.
Yeah, fucking I'll see what's on OnlyFans. It's kind of like fucking I'll go up and I'll just have a look to see what's there.
See what's there.
See what's out there.
See what's going on.
Yeah, what's what people take my pick and it's like And there's this like fart girl, there's like a toe girl, there's a girl pretending to be a dog, and he's like, "Oh man, these fucking people are freaking me out." I'm just, hey, it's kind of soothing. This is kind of meditating.
Let's go with this girl who's just washing her hair.
Yeah, exactly. I can kind of like come down off my high for watching her. I'm gonna give her 20 grand.
It's mesmerizing.
Yeah, exactly. It's mesmerizing. Yeah, so we'll move on from fart or from OnlyFans.
You was a fart girl.
Yeah, well, it's been so many times. Fart girl has appeared. I was like, I'm surprised. Like, she's wedged her way back into the show today. Like, I don't think there's an episode this year where you haven't mentioned her.
Well, she saw last week now.
It's now washing hair girl.
Yeah, it's hair washing girl now.
So we'll go on to talking about Elon Musk. He got himself in a bit of a spot about her there.
Surprise, surprise.
So remember a while ago we were talking about him having Neurolink.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's fucking, I'd never get this. This is a bad idea. Like,
yeah.
The first few people are going to be killed doing this. This is like a fucking retarded thing. And I was like, hey, I'm not saying I'm going to get the first one. I'll maybe wait till the 5th generation Neuralink. Wait till all the bugs are kind of kicked out of it before I like invest in this technology. But like, you know, like let's see what he has to say about this whole like computer in your brain thing.
Can we go back to you being gullible?
I think these two stories may have a link. Well, allegedly, there's been people, animal welfare people, saying, kind of alleging that the monkeys that Elon Musk has been testing have ended up dying or having to be put down, based off the research that they're doing. That the welfare of the animals is appalling.
I'd imagine it is.
Yeah, they admitted that of euthanizing 8 monkeys after doing tests on them. And this was according to the New York Post. An activist group claimed that one monkey was missing a finger and toe, and that there were possibly from self-mutilation. So this monkey's cutting them off themselves. So maybe they're like trying to like see if the monkey could like cut stuff or use tools and end up like cutting his toe off or a fucking finger after having the thing. But this is all, like I said, speculation.
That's a bit fucked up.
Yeah, so they said or unspecified trauma anyway. And then were later killed. And then they're saying there were others that were killed from terminal procedures, which might mean like implanting the chip into them.
Fucking Elon Musk, huh?
Yeah, so the PCRM has alleged that Neuralink has committed 9 violations of the Animal Welfare Act.
Only 9?
Yeah, now they expect extremely skeptical of human trials that the company were going to carry out later this year. They were claiming that 15 monkeys died during a brain chip trials. And I think... What?
I believe that.
Yeah, well, Neuralink admitted that to euthanizing 8 animals. So they said 15 is a bit too much. And like they said it was like 15 out of 23. So were put down. So like they made the euthanizing 8 animals.
23?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And denies like claims of extreme suffering. They said one of the monkeys was due to be put down anyway. Like it was already set date, so it wasn't necessarily because of the procedures or the test carried out.
And the procedure probably didn't help it.
Yeah. They said a blog post, I think this was from Neuralink, regarding the treatment as part of its work. It says 2 animals were euthanized at a planned date to gather important information from, I don't know, checking their organs. I don't know what they're doing, but they had planned to like kill them and then do an autopsy, I think. And then 6 animals were euthanized after medical advice from their veterinarian. So the vet was like, "Oh, you better put them down." They're starting to actually work as a team and could overthrow us. Like, I think giving like monkeys the power to be superhuman intelligent is a bad idea.
Is it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why?
I just think, have you ever seen the word Planet of the Apes, Ken?
Well, like, why do humans feel that we're so important?
Well, I'd rather not have a competitive intelligent species that have to possibly fight a war against.
That's true. We fight a war against ourselves the whole time. So
We don't. Us Irish haven't been in a war for 100 years. But, like, you know, the vast majority of humanity isn't under threat.
don't know. Kind of is.
No, it isn't.
Kind of is.
It isn't really.
Well, it kind of is, though.
But it isn't really, Ken.
But, like, there's the whole, like, the doomsday clock is what, at 2 minutes to midnight?
No, I don't regularly check the doomsday clock. Ken, you just need to get off websites that have doomsday clocks.
Like, the doomsday clock is, like, very, very close to midnight. So, like, it's the closest it's ever been in history, so...
Okay, well, maybe clocks can run fast, Ken.
Oh, it's at 100 seconds to midnight.
Yeah, well, clocks can run
like,
fast, and people can make errors in their judgment of what a doomsday clock is.
So, like, it's, yeah.
I don't think so. I think the vast majority of the world lives in way too much padded comfort, and a little bit more danger wouldn't help us cop ourselves on a bit. Are you there?
So then, like, intelligent monkeys would be a good thing then.
Not really. No, I don't want to compete in species kind of danger. Just like, you know, being allowed to curse on TV. That level of danger. Like, let's not push the vote too much, Ken. There's when all kids have to get a participation medal, and there's like a killer species of monkeys attacking a small village in like northern Brazil.
That's what you want, or that's what you don't want?
That's what I don't want.
It sounded like that was what you do want there.
No, I said I want cursing on TV. I don't want a killer species of animal that can know how to like arm themselves with semi-automatic weapons. But I would like to have a conversation, a deep-seated, like, you know, conversation with a monkey about like the universe and our place in the world as like sentient beings over a cup of tea while he strokes his beard. And I dip my digestive viscera into the tea.
With your Neurolink.
Yeah. But yeah, like, this kind of speaks to a lot of kind of fears you would have had around the Neurolink project of like, you're going to put these chips and what happens if there's a problem with them, or during the procedure you end up killing yourself.
Yeah, like, I just think it's stupid.
Making us really intelligent.
Yeah, but like, you're going to put a chip into your brain.
Yeah. And
like, there's regularly like computers and shit getting hacked. So you can hack a person.
That's the big fear, isn't it? Of these things, of like chips being hacked. Like, if it's connected to the internet, it can be hacked.
Yeah. So like, why would you do that?
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably the biggest fear of it. I think if you were necessarily a person who was blind or had like Alzheimer's disease and this chip could somehow cure it, or Parkinson's disease, or some kind of other mental affliction, then possibly be like, all right, I'll give it give it a go.
I don't know.
I don't see it like necessarily come a mainstream thing, but there's probably like, or even epilepsy, if it was a way of curing epilepsy.
It's just like it's too I can't see it ever taking off.
Yeah, like no one wants to buy the first iPhone. It's like you wait for the second or third generations to come out. It's like, but by the time it gets to like an iPhone 11, the camera's pretty good. Like they got the whole thing nailed down. They're just making them now so like we buy them. So you have to outdate the other software because they're like, well, the other software is still pretty good, but we want people to still buy new phones. But the whole thing comes down to then, what when you have a Neurolink chip and they just update the software, then you have to, are you kind of like, I have to update or else I die?
Like people wouldn't even take a vaccine because they were scared there's a chip in it, but they're gonna be like, oh yeah, put a chip in it. I
don't think necessarily people are on. A lot of people now aren't on board with the whole chip. But I think if you did a poll there today, I say the vast majority of people were like, I imagine I might be the only person on our social media groups that would be like, yeah, I think, like, I'm not saying I'll go for it, but like maybe into the future we'll see what happens. I might be the only person right now.
Yeah, until like consumerism and fucking advertising and bullshit takes over.
Oh no, but like I haven't seen a lot of people wearing fucking those Ray-Ban Snapchat glasses or Google glasses. Like there's certain technologies that catch on, like the smartwatches or smartphones or stuff like that. And there's others that never really think. And then we're connected. We already have a digital self right now in our profiles with that. We already have other devices connected to us that monitor certain things in our body, like with the smartwatch. And they've all taken off. So you can see how this is just laying the bed for the next evolution of that.
Yeah, I'd never get one anyway.
Yeah? Yeah, like you say that now. I used to say same thing about electric cars, and like I used to know a lot of people, and they used to say the same thing about electric cars. They'd never get an electric car. That like they're against the whole electric car thing. And now I was talking to a few people. Most people said that they probably eventually will get an electric car.
Yeah, they'll eventually get an electric car because you're kind of been forced into getting an electric car.
Oh, it's not even that. It's like the savings right now make more sense to get an electric car in terms of saving of electricity compared to fuels. Fuels went up so much now where you can actually charge your car. A lot of people can charge your car and work. And even if it's not, I think my sister was saying it works out something like a full charge is like something like a tenner to fully charge your car at home or something like that. I don't know. I imagine it would be a lot more. I heard in around the €30 mark before, so I imagine, but maybe you can get cheaper meters. Maybe there's grants. I don't know. But when it starts to make more financial sense, people switch.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's where you're being forced into it.
I'm not really being forced into it. It makes it easier.
Yeah, but you're still being forced into it. Like everybody's being
encouraged.
Forced into it. You're being forced into electric cars.
I've been encouraged to take on electric cars, and then there's grants.
Yeah, well, I accept that by 2025 they're not going to import electric car or non-electric cars into the country anymore.
Hydrogen, I think it's also could be the competition.
So like you're going to be forced into all this fucking shite.
You'll be forced into either hydrogen or electric, possibly. But hydrogen's pretty interesting as well. Car that refills itself, like it just takes in air and releases water. It's interesting.
Yeah, they're still trying to fuck it up though.
Yeah. We'll move on to, because this is, I see this going into a wormhole spiraling. Vegans and a beef union or meat union has beef, and whether it's artificial beef or organic beef, I guess it's the reason why they're fighting. So it kind of started when the Ulster Farmers Union made some kind of statement saying that plant-based food products should no longer use meat terms in terms of chicken, burger, and sausage in their products because it's misleading. Now, interestingly enough, the European Union actually looked at this as possible concern over whether to implement some kind of product placement so that non-meat companies would have to change names or couldn't use misleading terms in order to trick people into buying non-meat based products. But they went against it in the end. It was voted down.
The only one that I think would be misleading is the chicken one.
Yeah, and like we're talking about it off air, and like that's the only one because that's actually the animal itself. It's like a burger. Like you can have a chicken burger. You can have a vegetarian burger already. You can have beef burger. There's already different forms of burgers. So what's to make another one? Same with sausages. There's loads of different types of sausages made of different types of meats. So
yes, I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, making a plant-based sausage either. Like I could maybe go like, well, if you're gonna eat a sausage because you like the way it tastes, then why would you just not eat the sausage? And then people might point to like in terms of animal cruelty kind of things. And then I'm like, fair enough. But it kind of got a little bit interesting. So when the vegans, I think it was a vegan like product producer, so we're saying, well, okay, well in that case, we want the UK government to ban the word guinea pigs or fine guinea pigs for not being actual food.
For not being food?
Or being actual pigs. Because guinea pigs aren't pigs.
No. Why are they even called guinea pigs?
I don't know. You're the one typing away there. Look up first.
Why are they called guinea pigs? Let's look up why they're called guinea pigs.
I imagine. They also said that spotted dick should be only a term for medical professionals, Ken. And demanded that all retailers of curries change the name as they're not a curry house.
Guinea pigs are actually called cavies.
What?
They're actually called cavies.
Cavies, and
yeah, C-A-V-Y.
They're actually, I think they originate from Papua New Guinea, and that's where the guinea pigs term is, isn't that something like that?
They're originally from the Andes in South America. They do not exist in the wild, and yeah, they're originally domesticated as a form of meat.
All right, so they are food dicks. Yeah, they're also complaining about catfishes, saying that they should change the name because they do not purr, and while crisps no longer use terms like curry and or meat packaging terms such as roast beef because they don't contain beef in it.
The catfish thing though is because it looks
like a catfish. Yeah.
Like a cat.
Yeah, I think they were kind of like just taking the piss out of Ulster farmer, saying like there's loads of fucking products out there that use animal names in products that don't contain beef. But yeah, they're scared of their market shrinking because of competition, which is probably true. I think it's going to get to like $23 million in the next 3 years, they reckon, or next 5 years. The alternative meat market is going to go, which in the UK alone is going to go to 23 million.
Do you know what's an idea for these farmers to possibly do?
Grow soy.
Like they're already farmers, so why not grow
some chickpeas. There is actually a alternative chicken called chick, as in CHICK, I think it's spelled, and then has apostrophe N as because it's made of chickpeas and there's a chick in, so it's just a play on what's in it as well as the thing that it tastes like, which I think is okay. I think the farmers have to let that one pass.
Yeah.
Like if it's just said chicken, as in the way chicken is spelled, and it doesn't say plant-based or doesn't have any other term regular than chicken, like then it needs to fuck off. Like then it's not actually chicken. That's not what that is. You have to tell us what your new creation like is. Have you tried any of the plant-based foods or anything like that?
No.
In terms of the
I don't eat I really don't eat vegetables.
Yeah, But not even when they taste like sausages or rashers. Would that not encourage you to
No.
have your 5 a day?
No, never.
See, my thing about this is like if it's the health benefits of like maybe cutting out high fats of your diet, then having like fries, even though they're not meat, they're still really bad for you. It's still not it's not the healthier option. You're not eating good food when you're covered in oil and grease and open having that. That's largely the worst part of fries. It's made of oil that goes in to cook it.
Yeah.
Like a teaspoon, which no one uses just a teaspoon of oil, is 90 calories. So imagine, like, and most people like easily 2 tablespoonfuls of oil into their pan when they're making a fry. So that's 3 by 2. That's 6. 6 nines is a lot of fucking calories there, alright? Right? That's maths. That's me doing maths.
I use a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So just think of that when you're. That's 90 per teaspoonful. I use a 1 cal spray.
You what?
You know, you can get this like spray jar bottle thing, and it's like 1 calorie per spray. So you spray and it's
like
1 calorie.
spray lights.
Yeah, it's all right. Like it doesn't grease the pan a lot. Sometimes you do need to throw a bit of oil into it. If you're doing a fry, I'd recommend oil. And be honest with you, this is like go all out. But like, in terms of like steaks, you can cook a steak with it. Or if you're frying like chicken for whatever reason, I wouldn't use it. You need an extra bit of grease. That's my thing. I just thought it was funny that like. Because when I read it, I kind of got caught out with clickbait. And it was just like, vegans call for guinea pigs to be fined. I was like, okay. I'm going to click into this. You got me. You can have my cookies.
Imagine finding a guinea pig. Like, how would you even...
No, I wanted us to get to a stage in social media where if you click on a story and they trick you into clicking onto it, you should ask for your cookies back. You know, accept all cookies. And I was like, no, I want my cookies back because I was fucking conned out clicking onto this. Give me my cookies back. You no longer can use my data. But like, if like, in terms of you got what you came for, you go, yeah, you can keep my cookies. This was a worthwhile purchase of my cookies.
Yeah, like...
We're using our personal data as currency, basically. You know, because if you're not happy with a product, you should be able to return it. But like, if you click onto a site and it's clickbait, you should be able to like, no, you cannot.
Everything, though, like nearly everything on the fucking internet is clickbait these days.
This is why we need to regulate.
Like, nearly fucking everything is clickbait.
Yeah, that's very true. Anyway,
I don't know how you combat that.
Yeah. Well, regulate, Ken. And when you think you've done enough regulation, you regulate even more. The same with product placement. Imagine if things just didn't have the right products in it, and you're like, oh, well, you bought it, you can't have it, you can't return it. You have no returns policy. Then someone said, no, we're going to regulate that shit so that if we're not happy, we can fucking return it if we want. And then there's a whole, now you can. I think the same personal data. If I click onto a story and I'm not fully satisfied, I should be able to get at least store credit. Like they can keep my cookies, but they're not allowed to use it until I give them authorization. I go, yeah, now you can use it. Now I've got what I want. I know it's slightly harder to see. Like you have to be fair. I don't know how funny this can happen.
I don't think it's ever going to work.
Be honest with you, Ken. I'd be surprised if it did.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to work.
But I wish it would. I think it's an interesting concept. I'm just throwing it out there. I have a beautiful mind. Don't be surprised.
I have a beautiful mind.
Yeah, I come up. I'm an ideas guy.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I need a beautiful mind. It's really nice. But we'll leave it there for our show today. Episode 229 of the Shite Talk podcast show. We'll be back, we hope, next week.
Unless we've been cancelled.
Oh, no, we were pretty good today. I don't think we offended anybody. We weren't like last week. We should actually give a listener apology. Last week, I forgot to publish it. I thought I published it, and I've done this twice now. And then I only realised, I think on Sunday, so I only got to a Tuesday to actually publish it. So, well, if you're listening to this episode, you probably already listened to the previous episode. But if not, listen to the previous episode. We talk about fat people getting a jab to make them lose weight. But like, at least we didn't talk about any controversial this week.
Was that controversial?
Fat people don't like fucking mentioning that there is actually fat people. Or people don't want to be fat. Like, you're not allowed to mention that there's people out there that would love to lose weight and have rock hard abs.
Like, I'd say I'm a fat guy now at this stage.
Yeah, but I don't think you're necessarily too like bothered by the way you look, or like feel like you're kind of I kind of feel like you're self-assured in your own appearance at this stage where, yeah, it probably would have been better to lose weight, and I wish I probably wasn't this size, but, I'm going to get that kind of a bit of a, you're not like, oh, I hate skinny people. They shouldn't be mentioned that people want to look like them, because they don't, even though I probably secretly do.
Well, now that you mention it, Mark.
I do feel that way.
I do hate skinny people.
People wearing belts offend me.
Yeah, those bastards.
Those pricks. Anyway, well, this week wasn't controversial until the end there. But yeah, we'll be back next week with maybe a less controversial show.
But probably not.
We grow as every day. That's what I say.
Do we?
Well, yeah, remember where I had an opinion about something, and then we were talking about it before we went on air, and you're like, well, you had a complete opposite opinion there like a month ago. And I was like, yeah, I've grown since then. I don't know what that was about, but we had a conversation.
It was about your opinions on vegan food.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've actually mellowed off the whole vegan thing.
Yeah. That's not as you're not as militant about it anymore.
No, I'm not as militant. I'm growing as a human being.
You're okay with them now? I'm
not okay. Yeah. Do you know what? I'll let them be. That's the best I can say about them.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That's all that they expect, Mark. That's all that they expect.
One day we'll get that place with you and Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh, we better.
We'll be back next week.
I don't think we ever will, though. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
Yeah, okay. I don't think it is either. But we said goodbye about 4 times at this stage. So we're just going to end the show. Oh, no.